this aspect, but the writer himself, in a way, questions his work through this fictional fact that the government sets him up books for him. And
right.
And I wanted to ask you if you perceive this as a way that Philip K. Dick leads his audience to keep their critical view on his work.
Yes, absolutely. Can I repeat that? She said that, in the story, the government is going to be writing Philip K. Dick's novels in the future, like the Mind Screwers. And was this a way, did I think that Philip K. Dick wanted the audience to be skeptical, too, of what they read and what comes in? And I think that's absolutely right. I mean, in America, there was another science fiction writer who kind of wrote about religious, spiritual issues, and that became a very big church and a very big business, which is Scientology, and with an equally kind of strange, alien, origin behind it. And this was the last thing that Philip K. Dick would have wanted from his work. He wanted people to always question for themselves. As he says in the movie, you know how I am with theories, like planes landing at Los Angeles Airport, a new one every 10 minutes. And he never came up with the perfect theory for what had happened or why it was happening. To him, what was great, what he enjoyed, was spinning different possibilities, creating alternate worlds in his own mind from his experience. He would never have told people they must believe what he believed. So a lot of people who think that he was schizophrenic and had schizophrenic experience, I don't believe that. And people I know who knew him when he was alive don't believe that. He was kind of messed up, like a lot of artists and writers. He had emotional problems, 5 wives, a suicide attempt, but that's not so unusual for artists, In terms of being actually schizophrenic, the people who tell you the aliens are here and they have the word of God, they believe it. They grab you by the coat and tell you they have the truth. That was never Philip K. Dick's experience of his own visions. And there have been other writers who were visionaries, like William Blake, who I refer to in the movie, who had visions and saw things, but led a very normal, productive life as a printer. And William Butler Yeats, who most people don't know, was in contact with the spirit world through his wife, who would go into trances and give him messages for his poetry. He asked the spirits, "Why have you come?" And they said, "To give you images for your poetry." And I think for Philip K. Dick, this was an inspiration towards the end of his career for his fiction, which is what really appealed to me about it. I wrote my undergraduate thesis on Yeats and mystical nationalism, so it was kind of a natural attraction that I had to the political and mystical and literary aspects of this book. Yes?
Sometimes mystical nationalism leads to Nazism as well.
That's right. Mystical nationalism leads to Nazism. But which, was sort of the case in Ireland. Yeats was friends with Patrick Pearse, who was also a mystical nationalist, who was the one who ended up leading the 1916 rebellion, and Yeats kind of came to a different view. Mysticism and nationalism, yes, I think are very dangerous together. But for politics to be informed by a person's individual spirituality is what this movie is about. There's a difference. He doesn't become an ultra-patriotic American. In fact, he is against that in the form of the Friends of the American People. So, Philip K. Dick was not at all in service of his visions to a view of America dominating the world, just the opposite. He saw it as an empire in Vietnam and in some of its other activities, and didn't think that was the way he wanted his country to be. He protested against militarism in college and got kicked out of college for doing that. Yes?
Do you really believe that the messages you are generously delivering